Hello, YouTube. This is Mr. Bakari, and today we are going to solve quadratics by completing the square. Now, completing the square is a method that becomes important when something will not factor. It's an alternative to using the quadratic formula. So let's get into it with our first example. Now, before we look at the first example, if you look down here in the bottom right-hand corner, I've just written the standard form of a quadratic equation just to remind you what I'm referring to when I talk about A, B, or C. A is the leading coefficient, B is your x coefficient, and C is your constant, okay? Now, completing the square consists of what we first want to do is we want to get our x terms and we want to isolate them. Okay, so we're going to take our x terms and then we're going to move our constant to the other side of the equation. So I'm going to add 5. Okay. All right. So that's step one. Now, completing the square, what we mean by that is we are going to complete a perfect square trinomial here. And the way we do that is we take b, okay, which is our x coefficient. We're going to take b, half it, and then square it. Okay. So 14 divided by 2 is 7, and then 7 squared is 49. So I'm going to add 49. And by doing that, what I've done is I've completed a perfect square. Okay. Now, since I added 49, I've got to add 49 to the other side of my equation to balance it. And now I'm going to factor this perfect square, which will give me x plus 7 squared. So that is the factored equivalent of this trinomial. And then I'm going to combine like terms on the right. 49 and 5 is 54. And now I've got my square isolated. I can take the square root of both sides in order to solve this. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the square root both sides, and the square root of x plus 7 squared is just simply x plus 7. And over here, I get plus or minus the square root of 54. But the square root of 54 can be simplified. So if you need to work on simplifying radicals, I do have a video on that, so you might want to watch that first. But assuming we're good to go here, the square root of 54 is 3 square root of 6. 3 square root of 6. Okay? And then lastly, I need to isolate x. So I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. Now, it is proper to write the irrational number first and the rational number first, followed by the irrational number. Said that wrong. There you go. Okay? So rational number plus or minus irrational number. So x equals -7 plus or minus 3 square root of 6. And there's our solution. And it's as easy as that. Okay? Now, I want to look at another example where our leading coefficient is not 1. Okay? So in that first example, we just had x squared, but now we've got 4x squared. So if a, which is your leading coefficient, is something other than 1, what you want to do is factor that out. Okay? You want to factor it out. So we're going to start off the same way. We're going to isolate our x terms, which it seems has already been done for us because the constant is already on the other side of the equation. So we're good. We're just going to leave some room to factor and complete the square. Okay? So I'm going to write it out like this. Okay? But first, I've got to factor out that 4. So I'm going to factor out 4 from my x terms, which gives me this. Okay? There's my 11. So now I'm going to complete the square. I'm going to take b, which is 2, half it, and then square it. So that's going to give me a plus 1. Now, before you jump over here and add 1, there's something you need to consider. Okay? Since we factored out the 4, anything we add here in parentheses gets multiplied by 4, right? Distributive property. So we didn't really just add 1, we added 1 times 4, which is 4. So I've got to add 4 to the other side. Okay. So you have to watch that. Anytime you factor something out, whatever you add here gets multiplied by what you factored, and then you balance the equation. All right. So now I've made my perfect square trinomial here. I've completed the square. And so I'm going to write that in factored form, which is x plus 1 squared. And I'm going to combine my terms over here, which is a 15. Okay, so before I can take the square root of both sides like we did previously, I need to get rid of this 4. So I'm going to divide both sides by 4, which gives me 15/4. And now I'm ready to take the square root of both sides, which I will go ahead and do. Okay, now on the left, I get x plus 1, and on the right, I get plus or minus the square root of 15 over the square root of 4. I want to separate the numerator and denominator like this because what we see is that our denominator is a perfect square. So I'm going to rewrite that as the square root of 4 is just simply 2. All right. And then lastly, I need to move the 1 over, isolate, solve for x. So I get x equals -1 plus or minus the square root of 15 over 2. And there is my solution set. Again, you want to put the rational number first, followed by the irrational number in your solution. Okay? So I hope this helps you and that you can utilize the completing the square method in your studies. Thank you.